No? Oh, that's too
Mm-mm.
bad.
Yeah, it's
Well, it looks like we're live. So welcome everybody to Everybody Has a Story. And if you'd like to be a guest sometime, please reach out to me. We'd love to hear your voice and hear what you are passionate about in the world. So today I have with me Justin Carpenter. Welcome, Justin.
hey Lonnie, thanks for having me. Hey
Thank you.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you for coming last minute because I had a guest, Anna Ree, who was scheduled to be on today, but unfortunately that she's without power. She's in Texas with that deep freeze going on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so blessings to everybody in Texas, first of all. Stay warm, keep safe. But grateful to you, Justin, to step into it last minute. This is awesome. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have done a show, and that's okay too. I have other things I can fill my time with. That's for sure. So today, Justin wants to talk about, I have to read it, shining brightly, brilliantly, and boldly. Justin is a very enlightened fellow. I've been following and been in the same circles with Justin for quite a few months now, but I don't think, like I said before the show, I don't think we've ever actually been on a show together, really. So this is really a pleasure, and I'm really excited. Um, where I'd like to start, Justin, before I let you go off and share what you have to share, I would love to hear a little bit about your journey when you just kind of pulled away from everything and you went on a trip, a solo trip with your dog
hmm
into the wilderness, I'm assuming, but you just went soul searching. It was
hmm
just something that called you and you went on a soul searching journey. So for people, men and women, who might be watching this, I would love to hear a little bit about that and what you learned for it. What would you advise people who might be thinking that same thing about just wanting to get away and just, find that inner self?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it was truly 2020, a lot of people would say that there was a lot of struggle there, and certainly there were some challenging moments, but for me, 2020 was the best year ever because of that, because of this trip, because of what I did and what I made use of. And it was really just a decision. I was pretty heavily invested in the corporate world. I'd kind of done the whole standard, successful going up in life where I went to college and entered the corporate world and did all that kind of stuff. And, I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing, but never felt like my heart was in that. So there was always just something where I was like, there's more than this. There's more than this. There's got to be something more than this. Um, and I was living out in Seattle at the time, and I was married, and so I was in the corporate world, and I was married, and beautiful woman and incredible woman, but we came to terms with we weren't good for each other. We were growing separately and amicably and mutually decided that we were going to separate, and so that seemed to be a good opportunity to take this leap of faith and exit the corporate world and leave that life behind. And so I set out from Seattle and came back to Memphis, Tennessee, which is where my born family is, and stayed with them for a few months. And really that whole time was just dedicated to taking my grandparents' old SUV, this old Tahoe, and gutting it completely and doing a lot of renovations on it to get it ready for a journey. And so I built a bed in there. I put a fridge in there. I've got like backup power and really anything that you possibly need. It's cozy, but it's a good space. And so I got that set, and I had planned on leaving in March, and that was right when all the COVID stuff started to roll up around, and I had a lot of people ask me if I was still going to do it, and I said heck yeah I am. Like I'm not letting this stop me, and because I never bought into it from the very beginning. It always seemed like there was too much fear around it and not enough substance to what was actually going on. Um, so yeah, I took off from Memphis to Florida, and really my idea was just to, and I did it pretty well, but just to travel with the seasons. So I went, Florida was perfect in March, and I stayed there until I got too hot, and then I just started to migrate north up the East Coast, made it up to Maryland, and then I thought about going further north, but the Northeast was kind of locked down in that sort of area. Like I didn't really want to go that way, so I cut back west and then just traveled and did a whole loop around the U.S. Just stopping in really the most beautiful places. I love exploring, and so I would just dedicate anytime I was moving, I would dedicate a few hours to just finding a gorgeous campsite. And there's so much free camping in this country too. Like it's truly incredible how much free camping there is. You just have to know where to look. So I would just go exploring. I would just go driving around and find that perfect spot. I would have like different markers that I would try and get, next to a stream or next to the ocean, next to mountains or whatever. And I liked staying connected too. So I would look for a spot that would have like cell phone service. So, and I had a cell phone booster to where I could check in on the world and post about things, but then also remove myself and turn it off and then just go sit in the sun or whatever else. But yeah, really staying with that ideal weather was incredible because it was never too hot or too cold, and I could just hang out with my dog all day and read a book in my hammock. And yeah, it really was that beautiful time of finding myself because I had always been doing something or having some sort of schedule, and really just letting all of that go and having that time to just really sit with myself. I really came to know myself a lot better and ultimately came to know God a lot better, which was a beautiful, beautiful byproduct of that.
Yeah. So it's probably not something that's for everyone to be able to just, drop everything, excuse me, and go and do what you did. Uh, but if there is an opportunity, even if you can, excuse me, do it for a weekend, do it for a weekend. Even if you have kids and a family, I'm sure your family would support and respect that, for you to just go off on a little soul searching journey and just see what it does for you, right? Because did you feel or experience any loneliness at all?
You know, I there were certainly some moments that it kind of came in, but I appreciated those moments as well because it really got me to ask why. Why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel lonely when I'm just with myself? And that really got me to go deeper. And because I think a lot of times we're so afraid of that feeling of loneliness that we're always trying to like pile things on and find distractions and numb out to that feeling. So we never really truly sit with it. So yeah, there were some moments where it came, but I appreciated those moments because it showed me so much more, and I just came to love that feeling. I came to love not necessarily the feeling of loneliness, but the feeling of just being content with myself and where I was. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you'd have to have that mindset before even going on a journey like that, and to give yourself a promise that you will embrace all that comes at you, any discomfort, any anything. You promise yourself that I'm going to be fine. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust God, rely on God. And it's all going to be fine. And it's all what it's going to be meant and intended to be. So let's get a little bit on to what you wanted to talk about, brilliance and boldness and brightness. What are you, what are you hoping to bring to the world from this point forward? Because you've obviously shifted and transformed the direction of where, you're going in life.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always loved, and I've always had a knack for seeing the highest expression of anyone that I come in contact with. I always see like their true essence, the true self that, and we always are putting on masks. We're always trying to, a lot of times we're trying to hide that true essence because we've been taught by organized society that that's not okay to be that way. You need to fit in. You need to go this sort of organized route or whatever else. But I've always seen the true self, and I've always seen the true essence of someone. And my passion and what I love to do is to help people see that, because a lot of times we've been so conditioned to ignore that we forget who we are a lot, very much so. We forget how brilliant we are. We forget how bright we are. And so I love helping people see that. Basically just showing a mirror. Like I love just holding a mirror up and saying, "Hey, look at you. Look at you. You're incredible. You are absolutely beautiful. Like, don't you see?" And so that can manifest in many different ways. But I've always been one for like problem solving and things of that nature. So if someone's got issues or barriers or trouble that they've been through or whatever it may look like, I just want to I want to help with that. I want to see what's going on that's keeping you from getting from point A to point B, which point B being that highest expression, where you can truly shine brightly. And um, so yeah, that just comes from my love of people, my love of my brothers and sisters. I truly do love my family so much, and I treat everyone as my family, even those who don't treat me treat me well. I still love you, and I still acknowledge you, and I still see your highest expression. But that's come with a lessons for myself that I can't always show people their highest expression if they're not willing to look at it. And so that's been a big lesson for me to learn, is like I can't force it on anyone, but if I am invited to share that, to help with that, man, it just lights me up. It really does. It just makes me, whew, it just makes my soul sing to just be able to lean into that and say, hey, like, thank you for asking me for help, and I would love to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's reciprocated, right? So you're offering something to someone to help lift their vibrations and see themselves for what they are. At the same time, it's elation for yourself as well. And that's the kind of work that we all need to do in the world, because it's an equal thing. It's a balance, and it makes everybody leave a situation both feeling up and uplifted and higher than before they came together. It's those relationships, like you said, maybe some family members, um, where you might be brought down a little bit in their energy. Those are what we need to kind of keep away from. It's out of our control. It's in God's hands, and we just have to be at peace with that. And like you said, just love them from afar. So is there any kind of specific dreams that you have that you want to come to fruition in the near future or far future?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny. I've always thought about, when people ask, like, what would be your ideal, you know, profession or job, or what would you do if you could do anything if money was no object? And I always kind of struggled with like the specificity with that, and really isolating down as to what I would want to do all the time, because I love doing lots of things. I really do love diversifying. Yeah, I love all sorts of everything. And so really what's always stuck with me, what's always been consistent, is I love being like a go-to guy. I love being just like available to help out wherever I can, and for people to come around and ask me, hey, can you help out with this? And I'll admit it, if I can't help, like if I can't do anything, I'll be the first one to say no. Like I have no I have no idea how to do that. But if I do, I love being available to be able to provide that assistance. So that could look like anything from right now, putting myself out there online, and to anyone in this community, and just saying like, hey, like I'm here to talk about things. If you want to talk about it, if you got something to work through, like we can work it out. And if I was in, and I'd love to move towards an intentional community at some point. Um, and so in that sort of sense, I would love to just be like all around to help out however I could. You got to fix something, you got a problem. I'm very like I very much live in my right brain as far as being altruistic and loving to help and shine brightly, but I do have strengths within my left brain. I'm very logical and efficiency oriented, so I can shift gears into that and really help problem solve in that way. So I love like process improvement and making things run very efficiently. So hey, you're doing this way, like wouldn't you find it a lot easier to do it this way? You could actually get a lot more done if you did it this way. So if I can help someone do that, man, that just lights me up too. So I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you want to just talk, you need someone to listen and just talk. Justin, reach out to Justin. Yes, intentional community. That's what I'm looking for too. I think, as everybody knows by now. So if you know of any beautiful intentional communities, give us that information. So before we start wrapping things up here, Justin, Is there anything you want to say to, further inspire the listeners? And also, do you want to talk a little bit about maybe the Bible study that you do weekly, or your YouTube channel or anything like that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would say just in general, in this time period, we're all going through a lot of different, everything's coming up. Everything's coming to the surface right now, like literally everything, whether it's within your relationships, whether it's within your, how you operate. Like if there's something that you're avoiding doing, if there's something that you're avoiding looking at, it's going to come to the surface. It's going to manifest in some way or another. And so keeping that in mind when we interact with people, when we interact with those around us, really remember that everyone's going through this same sort of dark to light experience where everything's being uncovered. So really try and show extra compassion to those around you, because we don't know what sort of struggles people are coming across, and really just be there to support. If you need support, ask for it. There's no shame in asking for support. And if you have support to give, please offer it, because this is the way that we're going to be able to move through this tumultuous time period in the best way possible. So that's something that I'd really love to just impart on anyone. And then, yeah, as far as me, my YouTube channel is Wandering Toward Truth, and we do weekly Bible study every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time, with Charlie Freak and Marie Russell, and those are fantastic. We just did our third one. We just did our third one yesterday, and it was amazing. And they just keep getting better and better. We're on the book of Matthew right now, so we're just kind of slowly working our way through the Bible, and it's amazing. And then Sundays we've got a song decode show where we're taking Charlie's got a long list of 1,000 songs, and we're just finding the essence of God within each of those, and really decoding what these Gnostic warriors were inputting into them. So those shows are fantastic. And then tomorrow we're on Marie's channel. We're actually going to be doing a show on how to reclaim sovereignty. So how to reclaim your name and exit the sort of maritime admiralty law, take tangible steps to reclaim that birth bond, and say, and copyright your name and say, I'm not participating in this system anymore. You cannot contractually obligate me to do anything within it. So that one's going to be really powerful as well. And then also tomorrow we're having a Q&A show with myself and Charlie and Remembrancer, and we're just going to be talking about food. We're going to be talking about how to be an alkaline state and what to do and how to best to get to that state. So lots of things going on. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can find me. I'll share my link tree to Lonnie, and she can put it in the show notes, and it's got all my links in there, and you can find me there. So, and yes, please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or just want to chat. I'm here. I'm here to serve.
Perfect. Perfect. Wow, you got a lot going on in the next couple of days. I was just going to vouch for the Bible study, and what Justin was just saying about this is a time where everything is coming to the surface. That's including truth. So truth is super important. We got to start looking at it and accepting it and changing our perspective and our perceptions of things. And truth is what leads you to God, and God will lead you to the truth. So God needs to be included at this time. If there ever was a time, yeah, to start reconnecting in your own way, whatever, but reconnecting with God, this would be the time. And tuning in once a week would be very helpful with the Bible studies. Sorry. So I know that it's hard for people who everybody's been raised differently. And there's so many different kinds of religions and churches and things like that. Maybe people have had negative experiences. But it's time to just let all that go and just renew your faith and your relationship with God. Yeah, so thank you so much, Justin, for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and just want to clarify, for anyone who's thinking this is all about like just the one, like the Bible, and that's the only source of truth. There is only one truth, but it is not just written within the Bible. It's written in so many different ancient texts. It's written in the stars, it's written in language. And if you can find that one story, if you can find our story, the hero's journey written within all of it, that is the pathway to God, and that's what we're here to do. So just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
for sure.
Thank you. Yeah. And thank you for watching. If you want to watch more beautiful guests and interviews like this, please go to my Life and Birth Mentor YouTube channel and binge over there. Beautiful, beautiful stories, relatable for everybody. And if you want to be a guest, let me know. So thanks again, Justin,
Thank you, Lonnie.
and everybody have a fantastic day.